Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you're all staying safe, right? So, in the last class, we had covered a part of what was it? What was the lesson number? It was lesson number 8. Every drop counts, right? We had covered a part of it. So, let's continue today the remaining part of it, okay? So we had stopped in page number 47, right? We saw that there was a conversation between the Pulkit and Siddharth. They had been to a amusement park and they had actually found a notice saying that there was no water and hence the park was closed. And then the conversation starts from there, where Siddharth actually was aware of such situations, and Pulkit was like so shocked and surprised to hear this notice, right? Being an amusement park, there's no water. What is it? He was asking. And then Siddharth had a ready answer for it. He says nowadays the condition of this world has gone like that, and our country especially are in the scarcity of water because we are wasting water every time. And he also explains in what way are we wasting the water by the swimming pools and etc, right? Building these amusement parks, a lot of water is going to be wasted and are being wasted, and there are places in the country where they are fighting or starving for water, right? There's a lot of scarcity of water, and he had been explaining all these to Pulkit. And finally, he also gives some ideas about how to uh, preserve this water, right? That is where we had stopped. That is in page number 47. So he says there's a lot of demand for water, hence we have to start recycling, storage, recycling, and reusing this water. So let's continue. Pulkit, are you talking about storing water? Yes, it is important to store rain water. In India, fresh water is largely used for agriculture. Rainfall being the main source of fresh water, it should be collected carefully. With water shortage being a historical problem, India has a long tradition of water conservation. Pulkit, is that true? Siddharth, have you heard of Stepwells? Pulkit, yes. Siddharth, Stepwells are perhaps India's oldest way of collecting rainwater. These are trenches with winding stairs reaching deep into the water table. Today, these beautiful works of architecture are mostly forgotten. The earliest such stepwells were built between the 2nd and the 4th centuries AD and were very cleverly constructed to capture rainwater. Known as baolis or valves. These stepwells can supply water all year round to the drier parts of the country. So let's get into details of this. So this conversation was going on between Pulkit and Siddharth had suggested the ways to preserve water. And now he's explaining again one more uh, plan for it. So Pulkit is asking him, questioning him. So are you talking actually about storing rainwater? So he's asking him, actually, are you coming to say me that the method of storing water, rainwater, are you telling about that? So Siddharth said, yes, it is important to store rainwater. So he says, yes, of course, I'm telling about storing the rainwater. And it's Very much important for us to store this rainwater. In India, fresh water is largely used for agriculture. So he's giving the reason and explanation for it. He says in India, almost a major part of India are of farms, right? So in India, fresh water is largely used for agriculture. So he's telling the fresh waters are used largely for agriculture. Rainfall being the main source of fresh water, it should be collected carefully. So he says that rainwater is the main source for water, fresh water, right? So what we have to do, this rainwater, should it just go wasted? No. We have to find a way that we use this rainwater. So it should be collected carefully. With water shortage being a historical problem, India has a long tradition of water conservation. He also says this, water shortage is not a new problem here. It's a historical problem in India. That means it has been always, India had been, facing this shortage of water throughout from the our ancestral lives. Sorry. So this storage of water is actually followed as a traditional way from long behind, like the from our ancestral ages. It has been followed in a traditional way. It's nothing a new thing at all. So water conservation is always been there from long ago in India, is what Siddharth is explaining to Pulkit. Pulkit, is that true? Siddharth, have you heard of Stepwells? So Pulkit is shocked again and he said, is that really true? Are our ancestors also aware of conservation of water, rainwater, and were they actually collecting this water? I didn't know at all. He didn't know. So he was shocked and he's asking, is it true? So Siddharth, have you heard of Stepwells? So he's asking again one more question. Have you ever heard of Stepwells, Siddharth? So Siddharth is asking that. So Pulkit says yes. So Pulkit has heard about stepwells. Siddharth. Stepwells are perhaps India's oldest way of collecting rainwater. So what are stepwells? You may not know. Uh, it's just what is a well, right? So basically step wells are the ones, you can see, you may have seen in either some movies or in TV or in your phones. You can just look into what are step wells. They are nothing but uh, the wells that are built with steps around. Usually, the wells, what do we, how have you seen the water we are drawing from the well, right? We use a pulley, we use a bucket, we use a rope to, fetch water from inside. But step wells are the ones where they have created steps. We need not, put a rope and then, pull them in, but we can just go down that it's water filled, the water is filled, you can go down the stairs or steps and you can just fill in your pots and come fetch your water. So that are called the step wells. Okay, these are historically made. That means they are built long ago. Nowadays it may not have been very normal site because it's all built long before. It's a historical site. So he's trying to tell us that step wells are perhaps India's oldest way of collecting rainwater. So these step wells, which were built long ago, were the earliest or the oldest way of in conserving this rainwater. So it's an open well, right? When the rain comes, it's so vast. Usually, this our wells, our wells, in the sense, the wells which you would have seen are round and small comparatively, but step wells are quite larger. Okay, they're flat and large. So, since therefore the rainwater is completely stored there. right? It can collect more of rainwater into it. So these are the oldest way how the ancestors or the old historical people used to conserve water. These are trenches with winding stairs reaching deep into water table. So what is it actually? These are trenches. Trenches means long, narrow channels made for water to flow. Okay, so these are the trenches which are having the long path or the channels where the water just flows and falls into it. And with winding stairs reaching deep into the water table. So I have told you, right? It has stairs, winding stairs in the sense it has stairs all around the well that is leading to when we go down the stairs, we lead to the water table. Water table is nothing but the surface of the water which has been stored. Today, this beautiful works of architecture are mostly forgotten. So I've told you that also, right? Nowadays, we don't find such beautiful architectures. That means such constructions. Nowadays, it's stopped. We don't find it anymore. Okay, so we all have forgotten such historical ways of building or conserving water. The earliest such step wells were built between the 2nd and the 4th century AD and were very cleverly constructed to capture rainwater. So he says these are not the thing in this present centuries. When were these built? The trend of the step wells were going on in the late 2nd and the 4th century AD. That means after you can say after death of Christ is what AD refers to. Okay, that's the how we actually define the uh, time. Okay, so the ages you can see. So that's AD. You have so centuries as centuries passes on. You keep a particular scale. Okay, so that's how it's measured the ages. So here uh, he is trying to tell us that the 2nd and the 4th centuries it was built. That means it was built at that long. Only on those periods, the step wells were actually in a height. That means it was more often built or it was more used in those centuries, but not now. And it was not simply made, it was really cleverly made that it accumulates more of rainwater. It was so well planned that the major part of the rainwater is not wasted. Instead it's conserved. Okay, known as known as baolis or vows. So the names of these stepwells were usually known as baolis, that's the name, or vows. It's called as baolis or vows. These stepwells can supply water all year round to the drier parts of the country. So what was the aim of building these stepwells were to conserve water. And the fact was these stepwells actually could supply water all the year, throughout the year, even including the drier seasons when they had no water at certain places. These step wells did, supply enough amount of water. Okay, they had that source, and since the rainwater was conserved, they had a good future plan. The clever mind of those people to survive, right? To well planned to just go over uh, through this hard times, that is during this dry seasons. They were well planned, and these did help them supply the water during the dry seasons also. Pulkit, that's interesting. Even simple ponds or reservoirs can help in conserving rainwater. So even Pulkit says, oh, that is interesting, right? They had such a clear plan and they had a lot of water saved, that too naturally, right? They had not uh, they have tried to conserve the rainwater, and they could supply and they could go through easily the hard times of dry seasons. So that's really interesting. Even simple ponds or reservoirs can help in conserving rainwater. So even Pulkit is now more, uh, you know, getting into this topic, and he is also putting up some suggestions telling not only the step well, so even simple pond or reservoirs are again places where water is collected. Okay, so that's called a reservoir. Can help conserving. So he says even a simple pond or a reservoirs may also help in conserving water, not only the step well. So he is also putting up the points which he knew. He is just giving us suggestions. Yeah. So Siddharth, yes, as cities become bigger, traditional water bodies are getting used up. We should make an effort to restore such water bodies and to construct new reservoirs. This will help to increase the groundwater. Rooftop water tanks to collect the rainwater are another way of conserving water for future use. Siddharth is also listening to Pulkit. He says, yes, of course. As cities become bigger, traditional water bodies are getting used up. So, as cities are becoming bigger, the more population is increasing, the more people are occupying the places. Therefore, the usage of water is also increasing day by day. See? So, all these water bodies are getting used up. Now, we should make an effort to restore such water bodies and to construct new reservoirs. So he says, so now it's done, right? People are using all the, I told you, right, that they are drilling the wells to get water from underground now, after using up all the water bodies of river, etc. So now it's time to again conserve some of them, right? We should preserve them. Let's restore them. It's completely empty now. The water bodies are getting completely empty. So let's give some time for it to restore. So we also have to start constructing new reservoirs to conserve water. This will help to increase the groundwater. So once we use this method of conserving water, what will happen? We can use these rainwaters, right, in the reservoirs. So what happens is basically the underground water, which are actually being used, overused by us, and it gets some time to restore the water, right? Or else if we empty all the water, underground water, then where will we go for other water, right? Now it's completely you can say half empty, right? So now let's give it some time, let's give earth some time to restore that, and let's use some other methods like reservoirs to get that water. Rooftop water tanks to collect rainwaters are another way of conserving water for future use. So he is giving another suggestion that roof rooftop water tanks. That means when you can place open tanks on the rooftops, okay, where when the rain comes, anyway, you can see that the rain falls and it's wasted. It's just falling all over the roof and it just goes wasted, right? Instead of that, why don't you build a tank or keep one or two tanks there? So when the rain falls, it gets stored inside the tank and this water can be used for future, right? Again, we are conserving water. So that's a way of conserving water, is one more suggestion of Siddharth. So I hope you would have understood. Let's put a pause over here and let's continue the rest of the chapter in the next class. So children, I hope you have understood this part. So go through it again, and revise it once or twice. It's an important chapter, and it's really important in our practical life as well, right? So go through it again once or twice. Let's meet in the next class. Till then, take care and bye.